Okay. Hello and welcome. As you remember the last time we streamed this game, me, as in I in this game, is um, playing an as an detective with at a high school where or most of the people have a special ability. My ability is that I'm psychic, so I can see into the future and the past and so on. And we got a mission to find somebody's phone. I believe it was Harley or something. And uh, we have just, you know, figured it out and everything. So yeah. Now I can't remember exactly, but it was something about Allison, which is my best friend, and we were trying to figure out something. So let's continue. I really recommend you guys to, you know, read as well because I'm not very good in speaking English with my dyslexia. So yeah, here we go. Tyler's new this year, and from the minute you saw him, you've been crushed on him. Every time you try to talk to him, your mouth goes dry and your brain goes blank. He's just so gorgeous. High cheekbones, dense skin, and most amazing eyes. You never thought he ever knew who you were. But now he is talking to you. Not just what's the homework or is this the end of the line? Actually talking, actually smiling too. That was really great. What do you think of Harley and Allison too? Tyler adds, nodding over at Allison. Everyone said you uh, were sort of investigation investigator, and now I see why. You're really good at your job. Tyler glanced over at the nearby table, where the cluster of his friends are eating lunch. One of them look up, catch sight of Tyler talking to you, and quickly looks away. Tyler noticed, but just sweep his hair out of his eyes and this his smiles up a little higher. Coming over at my table. You follow Tyler, gaze back to the table. There are two empty seats there, right next to each other. The one is for you, the one is for Tyler. You get to sit next to Tyler, but you have to leave Allison behind. Do you do this? Stick with Allison, she's my best friend. She just had a really bad scare. This is once in a lifetime chance. I'm going to sit with Tyler. I'm sure Allison would understand. Pull over other chair. Sure, it make things a little bit squeezed, but I'm not gonna abandon Allison, which is try to run in with Mr. Pierce. I want to sit with Allison, but I want to sit with Tyler too. But if I sit with Tyler, I'll probably just spend the whole time babbling. And then, oh my gosh, I need to get out of here. Okay, hold on, give me a moment. I don't know why the chat doesn't want to work. It's loading totally fine there, so... Okay. I'm gonna go for this once in a lifetime. But now I'm not sure because if I was me, I would not have abandoned. But then again, she was just okay. We're going for that one. You smile at Tyler. Thanks, I love to. Allison's face falls and you feel a hint of guilt, but you also feel much more than a hint of excitement as you turn back at Tyler and says you'd been wishing you could say it all. I love to sit with you. You head up across the cafeteria with Tyler grinning. You cut a teeth, and you're having lunch with a person you've been crushed for months. It's a good day. Chapter 2. We used to be friends. At the end of the day, you meet Harley at the main entrance just as you planned, and she gives you money as you promised. Thanks again, Emily. Oh, that's me. Yeah, that's right. I remember we named myself Emily Awesome. She says, hold her phone tightly on her hand. It sucks that it will be that Will who did it. I mean, I hate that it's someone with, with power, she means. Although she's too discreet to say it where everyone else might hear. I hope it doesn't mean bad things for the rest of you. Let us know when there's anything I can do to help. You nod and Hallie heads home. School is over, you got money on your pocket, and you got a job. What's next? Ice cream! And an airplane. For you and Allison, no significance read it yourself. Event is complete without a trip to Kongspot count. Everyone's victory means the ice cream of celebration. Every defeat means this ice cream of consolation. That's just how it works. You can never treat this time, thanks to Harley payment. Under the family light of Kingsport Kings, CFLs, hidden in old-time frames, meant to look like gaslights, and you and Allison can finally talk. Allison folded her tall frame into one of the fake-thought iron chairs and started to dig into her dish of mint chips. So how are you feeling? She asked. In the cafeteria she hardly said a word, but when the two of you she just talked when it's two of you you are just talking to each other. Allison is so comfortable nobody would ever know how shy she can be in the crowd. How are you feeling? Awesome. Already looking ahead to the next case. Doing great. Can you believe Tyler congratulated me? He asked me to sit with him. Pretty great. Great. But I hope you're not mad that I sat with Tyler. Worried. I will. The whole thing with Will is freaking me out. Don't worry about me. How are you? Are you welcome off the room with Miss Piston? I'm gonna go with that. Allison takes a second to swallow another bite of ice cream, then shake her head. No, it's okay. Allison looked down again as he added, I understand how you feel about him. I know, right? Do you think he likes me? I think he might like me. I don't know, Allison says vaguely. Maybe. Allison is quiet for a moment and then look up again, anxiety blue eyes seeking yours. Do you think Peterson knows about about your ability, she means? You think for a moment before deciding. And on an airplane. Yeah, he might, but it's okay. We'll look out for each other. Maybe. We'll have to be even more careful when we were before. I don't think so. If he did, he had been much harder on us. I'm not gonna read anymore because I'm gonna go with that one. Allison's expression eases a little and she nods. Okay, ice cream can make all your problems go away. At least it can make some of them a little easier to deal with. When you're both done with ice cream, Allison head off to pick up a little sister from school, leaving you on your own. What do you do? I got a history test tomorrow. I want to spend all my evening studying. I need to think your mom more where to learn. I'm still unset by the way Will was using his ability. Alison isn't the only friend I want to talk to about what happened. Time to hoop online. Online. You're gonna go with that one. Unusually, catching a thief is satisfying, but this time it's hard to feel anything but worry. What's going to happen to Will? What's going to happen to the rest of you? The police will never believe him, even if it doesn't. Even if it does tell them how Holly's that he stole Holly's phone, right? And did Mitt Pierce really know about Allison's ability? Does he know about Will's? About yours? All evening you turn it over and over in your mouth, thinking about what Mr. Pearson said and how he said it, trying to see if you can find any certain answer to the question of whether he knows your abilities. You can. You keep your awake far into the night. Oh, maybe I shouldn't be doing that if I got a history class. Like a history test. When you get to school the next day, you're not surprised to hear Will didn't show up. Even if he's not in jail, he's probably been suspended. You're surprised to get away from Tyler as he's walked past you towards his locker. Hey Emily, he says, flashing that gorgeous smile that makes you head them. Great job yesterday. And before you can speak, he's gone. You leave again your locker, sighing as you watch him go. What is it about Tyler that you find so irresistible? He's just gorgeous. Those beautiful eyes, those high cheekbones and the perfect hair. He's incredibly confident. He always seems to find it wherever he goes. He always talked about the exciting places his family goes on vacation. He appreciates the best thing in life, so do I. Okay, this guy doesn't sound like a down to earth guy. He's like one of the popular guys, so I believe that if I was a girl in her situation that I had a crush on a popular guy, I would have probably go for that he's gorgeous. But if I'm gonna choose from what I feel like a person, I think I would go with the last one. Has it? He appreciates the best thing in life. So do I. So we'll see how the story will go. Tyler always wears designs clothes and goes to fancy trips to Europe with his family. The lifestyle he takes is granted is the one you're always wishing you could have. While daydreaming about Taylor, your phone buzzed like a text. You look down to see who it's from and almost drop the phone in surprise. It's Carl McRae. The fuck is that? You were friends in elementary school. You, Carl, and Jen Cohen. You weren't as close friends with them as you were with Allison, of course, but you still spent a lot of time together. It was one of those friendships you could hardly explain. It wasn't as if you had that much in common after all. Carl and Jan were rougher than you, always playing harder at the sports field and getting into scruffing races. But they were spontaneous, exciting, and most of all fun. You drifted apart from Jan as time went on. You went to her bat mitzvah, but haven't spent much time with her since starting high school. As for Carl, well, that's a bit more complicated. Carl's brother Rick, 3 years older than you, was the kind of kid who always got in trouble. Fist fights, shoplifting, that kind of thing. Carl and Rock were being raised by their grandmother, and she tried everything to keep Rick in line. She even sent Rick away to military school for a while, but he just came back and fell in with the same crowd. Eventually he dropped out of high school although and ran away to Boston. It broke her grandmother's heart. Lately Carl has been into the same kind of trouble as Rick. Another one of the many open secrets of Kingsport High is that Carl is the center of drug network. Oh. He mostly deals with prescription drug kids steals from the parents and skim off their own supplies. But there are rumors that Rick bring him harder stuff to Boston. Over the last year, Carl's nearly been arrested or expelled a dozen times, but he's managed to weasel his way out every time. When did you stop hanging out with Carl? In sixth grade, when we started middle school, we were interested in different things. We just kind of drifted apart even before he started getting into trouble. In 8th grade, when he asked me out, I didn't feel the way about him, so I said no, and I was always kind of awkward after that. In 9th grade, when I heard he was selling drugs, yeah, we're going to go for that. I really didn't want anything to do with that. So me. You knew his brother Rick sold drugs, but somehow you always thought Carl was different. When you found out he was doing it too, you dialed your friendship way back. After that, it was never the same. You spent less and less time with Carl. You don't think you ever spoken to him more than a year. Carl and they stayed close though. Yen was always a little edgier than you. She didn't mind that Carl got into trouble. You weren't surprised when they started dating last summer. So if I have choose a dating part, Jen would be like this jealous part, and the story would have turned out like they didn't become friends anymore because she was jealous of you or something like that. I guess that at least. But now Carl is texting you. I need to see you, says the message. Important. It must be if he's getting in touch with you at all. You text back. Okay, when? This is Emily. Now we're gonna go with okay, when? A few seconds after you hit send, his phone buzzed again for a text. Meet me after school, back door near caf. I do believe that's the cafeteria. That's where Carl can unusually be found after school. Has anyone knows ever bought drugs from him could tell you. This is weird, very weird. And then a second later, another text. Need your help, please. You fix things. I don't know what else to do. Sad face. It even has to give a sad face. Even weirder. You stare at your phone, and for the longer you stare, the more you think you need to see Carl and talk to him directly. Why? I'm curious. Something isn't right here, and I want to find out what's going on. I'm worried. It would take an awful lot to upset a tough person like Carl. Something must be wrong. It sounds like Carl wanted to hire me. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna go with them. Worry. So at the end of the day, you go where Carl asks you to meet him, the back of the school at the near door of the cafeteria. Carl is there, just as you expected, lounging against the brick wall with a cigarette hanging out of his mouth. He's talking to Ryan Dyer, who's rumored to be one of Carl's frequent buyers. Carl's expression is more or less a permanent scroll. But you're watching closely and you can see there's something more intense about the frown today. His eyes are narrow and more angry, and his mouth twists sharply down. Still, you have to admit Carl's not bad looking. Quick dark curly hair, sharp cheekbones, and tons of confidence. You're too far away to see what Carl is saying to Ryan, but you can see Carl snap his finger and a tiny burst of flame lit up. Ah, he got ability too, so it's like a flame guy or something. Most of the teachers think Carl is just a really good at hiding lighters and matches on his pocket, because no matter how many they confiscate, there always seems to be catching him playing with fire. Maybe he got the fire ability. You know better, of course. It's Carl's ability. And he plays it up as much as he can, using it to intimidate people to make them do whatever he wants. Pretty scary, huh? Definitely scary. I hate to be on the wrong side of Kyle Tempo. Scary and wrong. I will never use my ability to hurt people. Scary and kind of sad. Carl's changed a lot since we were a kid. It's not a good way. Not really. Somebody has ability like that that would take advantage of it. Actually, it's pretty impressive. No, it's not impressive. I think it's wrong. And I would never use my ability to hurt people. You and Carl are on the opposite side when it comes to how to use the ability. You just want to help, and Carl just want to hurt. You feel a little sick. That's kind of sad. The flame dance of the end of Carl's finger has his touches it to the tip of his cigarette. Usually, Carl's wouldn't let it go after that, but he keeps the flame burning, moving his hand back and forwards and a lazy smile on his lips as he watched the flame. When, in a sudden burst of motion, Carl lunges off the wall. One hand snatches the cigarette away from the other with the flame pointing towards Ryan's face. Ryan springs back instinctively, eyes wandering in shock. Whoa! Ryan begins. Don't you whoa me, Carl shouted. Don't you talk to me, you listen. Slowly. Carl brings up his hand, the flame flickering flick ever closer to Ryan's face. You listen. This is... Nah, it's a hiss now. It's a hiss now, or just a furious as he shout. I know you've been buying and selling on the side. You don't do that. Nobody does that. Nobody gets sold on this school unless it goes through me. Carl falters mid-sentence, or something catches the edge of his vision. As you catch the edge of his vision. As it's matter in fact. Carl catches your eyes, and just for a moment his expression changed. There's recognition, relief, and a little softness too. Whatever it was gone in the next second. Get the hell away from me, Carl groans to Ryan. The flame wings out, and the crowd pushes Ryan's chest with both hands. We're done. Ryan staggers back, feet scrubbing something with his balance. Oh my eye. He's still moving backwards when he starts running away. That leaves you and Carl alone. He tilts his head to look back towards you, and his chin jerks up in a sort of reverse nod of greetings. What do you do? I stay where I am, crossing my arm, meeting Carl straight, waiting for him to make the first move. I come a few steps closer to say in a friendly, confident tone, Hi Kyle, you text me, what's going on? I come over to lean against the side of the building next to, quite not saying anything. I'm gonna see what he wants. For a long moment, Carl is silent, just smoking and staring into the distance. The sound of people shouting happily, sports practice, echoes distantly, as if it were a mile away instead of a few yards. Jane broke up with me, Carl says finally. His voice is low and dull, with none of the bravado of a moment before. Out of nowhere, I swear. Things were good, really good. But then last week she came to me and said she can't do it anymore. Wow, that's pretty surprising. As far as you know, Carl and Jen haven't had any problems. Where the hell did this come from? Carl hands cut Charlie through the air as frustration. Cigarette smoke trailing behind. You gotta tell me what happened, Emily. I love her, and I thought she loved me. I gotta know why she did it. I've been thinking about this for a week and I can't get out of my head. What do you answer me? I stick to business. It's just here because Carl asked me to do a job, and how he feels about it doesn't change that. I feel awful that Carlos is so upset, but I put my hand on his arm and comfort him. Right after a breakup, people usually hate the person they broke up with. I pretend to hate Jen too. Maybe, maybe it will make Carl feel better. Wow, I'm really surprised to see Carl showing so much emotion. It's kind of uncomfortable too. It's just staying here when where I am. I stick to business. I'm just here because Carl asked me to and how it feels. But I'm gonna be kind to him, you know. You reach up to touch um, Carl's arm. It's okay, you say gently. I hope you figured it out. I promise. Carl flinches sharply back, eyes suddenly wary, like a wild animal that's not used to be touched. Okay, he says a little gruffly. He managed to a weak smile, not so much sign of happiness as one of the non-aggressions. Nothing personal, it says. Thanks. You take out your phone, open your note-taking app. You look at Carl. What did Jane say about why she broke up with you, I mean? Carl flinches a little bit, but he's more ready for it this time. Said she didn't feel like we would go in the same place in life. Carl takes a long drag on his cigarette and blows the smoke out in the angry side. What the hell does that mean? I'm sorry, but I have to ask, you begin. Carl shifts anger and where glances at you. Something. Did Jen say anything about seeing anyone else? You're brushing for another volcano of anger, but Carl just shakes his head. Said she wasn't. Said it was about that. Just keep talking about long-term plans at big pictures. A bitter note enters Carl's voice when his quote Jen's. I got no clue where that came from. Jen isn't into long-term plans. James fun. Carl smiles something crooked up, and spark comes into his dark eyes as he remembers. Quick back now, kicking back and putting and doing her own thing, you know, not caring what anybody thinks. Party lover, rebellious, that certain sound like Jane. I like Carl too. Since when does she think about anything in the long term? This is definitely odd. What do you ask Carl next? Do you think Jane was telling the truth about why she was breaking up with you? Do you think James mean that? What do you think when was Jane acting strangely another way? What? That's not strange enough. What was it? Mostly she was all serious and kept going on with how we went at the same place. Yeah, I have to agree. Jen being serious is pretty odd, all by itself. Every memory you have of Jane is of laughing. She doesn't do it in a mean way. She just finds humor in almost any situation. She laughs at her own mistakes, at teacher's self-importance, impotence, and Mackenzie's snubs. And everybody joke on SNL, even the one you were all too young to get when you stayed up to watch it at the sleepover at Jen's house in 6th grade. So why is James being so serious now? What happened the day before she broke up with you? Carl hesitated for a second. You really want to know? He angles a measuring glance at you with a little half grin on his face and then decided, okay, we snuck into one of the fancy beach club, pretending to be tourists. The grin widens and take one of the defense cast. It was wicked fun. Got to my taste, charged to some random person's account, then lay on the sand. We wouldn't got away with it. We wouldn't got away with it to expect one of the bartenders recognize us. They actually chased us out. He laughed. What do you ask Carl next? What do you think James means when he says long time? No, I'm gonna go with that one. Carl shake his head. Never lied to me before. I don't know why she's done now. And I can read her pretty good, he adds. At least I thought I could, when Jen's not really good at hiding stuff, you know. You do know, Jen's never been one of to have a good poker face. Not even when she's literally playing poker, which she taught you all of in 5th grade. Carl shakes his head. No clue. College and stuff, I guess. I don't think Jen cares about college, you say, surprising. Me neither, Carl's agree. Never talked about it before. Thanks, I better get to work now. Carl steps back. Okay. He pauses for a minute and then say more quickly. Thanks. I gotta know. Quickly, Carl turns and moves away, cigarette smoke rising in the cloud around him as he goes. How do you want to investigate? I have English class with Jen. I waited tomorrow to talk to her. Jenny's on the soccer team. I shouldn't be hard to find her somewhere, some other members of the team and ask the question. I don't even need to be in the same place as Jen to find out what she's up to. I can use my magic. I see what Jen's be talking. There's always a good first step in investigation. Plus, you know Jen's is also online. The first place you go is Instagram, where it looks like Jen has cancelled her account. Snapchat, the same. Facebook is next. You're still friends with her, and you hid her post a few months ago because she was just posting so much. Time to unhide, you think. When you do, you see a page that's very different from what you remember. All the last selfies with cigarettes and beer cans are gone. It is the gallery of Street Sign Jane Store. So it's the gallery of Street Sign Jane Store. Instead, you see only the basic. Lives in Kingsport, attended Kingsport High, last year's yearbook. The posted photos of the girls' soccer team nearly. It's like the page belongs to a different person. Oh, and the relationship status is set to single. Now what? What do you do to investigate? I'm gonna wait till the next class. There's certainly the easiest way to go. Time to go home. Your house is on the narrow side street. One of the row is small square houses with wooden sitting. I don't really care about how the neighborhood looks. It's pretty small, a lot smaller than Allison, but then both of her moms and lawyers. Your mom was at the payroll department in Kingsport Memorial Hospital, and your dad is paralegal. Still, they managed to buy a house when you were a kid and you lived there ever since. You push the peel side door open. Your parents are always talking about how they should get the doors and shutter repaired, but there's never enough money to get it done. And got into the kitchen. Mom is there, bent over the little desk in the corner. The surface in front of her is strewn with bills, and she's looking at her calculator with anxiety and narrowed eyes. When she heard the door open, Mom head lifts and her face instantly cleared into a smile. Hi, honey. It's good to see you. How are you? No, did you have a good day? Yeah, pretty good. Yeah, I'm fine. How are you? That's very true. But how much are you really interested to know whether she's okay? A little. I care about her obviously, but most I want to talk to about something besides me. Mom smiles soften. Don't worry about me, honey. She reached out to pat your arm. Why would you pat her arm? I know the shoulder or head or something, but not the arm. Your dad had to work late, Mom continued, so he brings home some pizza for dinner. He should be home in half an hour or so. Oh, and I hope we could have a family time this weekend. Maybe one last game at mini golf before they all close up for the winter. What do you think? She asked with a hopeful smile. It's a great chance to spend time with my parents. It's cheesy but fun. It's not my idea of a good time, but I think it's a great idea. Mini golf isn't actually about the golf, it's about the conversation you have while you're waiting for everybody else to take their turn. The jokes he makes about the silliest animal shaped obstacles for. No, wait. The way you will all cheer each other up. You got it. You'll play with the gin. Can we do it on Sunday afternoon? I had to double check it with your dad when he gets home. But that should work. She sighs, giving a re, looking to the piles of bills at the desk. It will be good to have something to look forward. She sits down again and goes back to work. Well, I was pretty happy interaction with your mom. Not all teenagers would talk so affectionality with their parents. What's your relationship with your parent usually like? Do you fight a lot? Not more than most people, hardly ever. Have a good relationship. It's pretty weird for a teenager to get along with their parents as well as you do. You know exactly how lucky you are to have such a good relationship. You know your parents trust you completely and you know equally confident you can count on them no matter what. It really hurts that you haven't been able to tell them about your psychic power because you hate keeping secrets from them. You hope someday you'll be able to tell them everything. You give Mom one last hug and head up to your room. Oh, Mom calls as you start up the stairs. Don't forget about the scholarship competition. You can't really forget. Mom and Dad have been reminding you about it every day since junior year started. They're probably more excited about the Kingsport Schooler and Kongsport Athlete Award than you are, which you suppose you can't blame them, considering how worried they are about the money. You climb the narrow stair at your rooms and close the door. It's not a very big room, but it's all yours. How do you spend the evening? Doing homework, I think about scholarship, hanging out online, I got Instagram, Snapchat, and Tumblr, and wine, and texted all kinds of things you catch up. Thinking more about what's going on with Jen, seeing how loud I can play music before Mom and Dad start banging on the door. Spying on people with my psychic power, I do that all the time. Trying to extend my psychic power. Sometimes I can read people's thoughts. Well, that could be great. This is your new and most excited ability. Sometimes you can not only see people and places, you can actually hear their thoughts. It doesn't always work, but tonight it does. You close your eyes and focus at the nearest available thought. The one belongs to your parents. It feels like a door opening up in your mind, and through the door you can hear the dads thinking, is there going to be enough money for the car payment this month? I'll have to put off paying for a few bills after paydays. Dad's thought is anxieties, full of worries about money. They often are these days. Are you going to do any of your homework? Yeah, I'll do it all, but when I finish it, you have to stay up pretty late to get everything done, but you make it. The first class you have with Jane, and therefore the first chance you have to talk to her is English. Third period with Mr. Rivera. Rivera. Mrs. Rivera is young, funny, and smart. Even students who always says reading is boring sometimes get excited when they're in her class. When she talks about books, she somehow finds all this meaning you never saw in them. Your class has been working on Romeo and Juliet for the last few weeks, and then Mr. Rivera read Shakespeare. It sounds like real people talking. She's one of the most popular teachers in the school. Are you one of the many students who likes her? She's okay, I guess. I don't usually like schools and teachers, but she's great. I really want to impress her. I like all my classes, but yeah, there's something special about she's really inspiring. I'm gonna go with the next one. Mrs. Rivera, different is different from the other teachers. Something about the way she talks about books makes you get excited about learning, even when nobody else can. You can tell she believes in you too. You want to live up to her in good opinion of you. You file into room 223 along with the rest of the third period English class and hang back for the school pretended to fiddle with the zipper on your backpack while you wait to see Jan sit so you can sit next to her. A minute later, Jen comes in. She looks different. Her hair is neatly trimmed. She carefully held back from her face. She's wearing a crisp, clean, white button-down shirt. Was she dressed like that yesterday? Maybe. But you didn't notice. You trail after her across the room, slip into the chair next to her and watch. She doesn't talk to anyone on the way to her seat. She just sits down and starts talking to her books, arranging them neatly on the desk, and then adding 3 pens line of perfect parallel to the edge of the books. You never seen Jen look so focused and serious about the school. Well, about anything. She's all done, notebook open, the pen is in hand. By the time the bell rings, the class starts. So let's talk about Mercuro today. Miss Rivera begins. Half the class instantly perks up. He's by far the most famous character in Romeo and Juliet. You'd be excited too if you didn't have half of your mind on watching Jen and half of the thinking of the next part of your plan. You would try to talk to Jen during class. She can't really run away from it then. But talking too much in class or even passing notes would draw attention. And Mrs. Rivera doesn't miss much. You could also try to use your psychic power to look into Jane's backpack. To get to the level detail, being able to read and things like that, you have to be really close to the place you're viewing. Now is your best chance to do that. Since you're sitting right next to Jen, use magic is less obvious than talking in class. But you think but you're kind of spaced out when you use your ability, so you'll be in trouble if Miss Rivera called on you. Or will you focus on class during the class and try to talk to Jen after? Should I talk to Jen and get attention? Should I use my psychic power? I bet I can find something interesting in this backpack. And I won't do anything and talk to her after. I'm gonna do my psychic power. And then I can just blame that I have been sleeping badly for the two last nights. Because apparently from everything I choose, she has been sleeping very little the last couple of days. So I'm actually surprised she can stand awake. Knowing what Jen's carry around with her might tell you a lot about what's going on in her mind. Maybe even something she doesn't want everyone else to see. You focus your mind on Jen's backpack and the rest of the world fades. You can still hear Miss Rivera, but it sounds like she's far, far away. It's dark inside Jen's backpack, but your psychic power lets you see clearly. There are 2 more notebooks, both brand new, with stripe-shaped corners, in a few colored brooches from the guardian's office. One folded back to a page talking about athletic scholarship. Underneath, there are a few older scraps and a crumbled scrap of a cigarette pack. No smoke in her bag now. And an even more crumbled attention ship dated 10 years ago. Sorry, I got a notification. I got a little bit distracted. That's all. Well, that and Jen's lunch. So what's going on? It looks like Jen is focused on academic and sports. Looks like the nearest alignment something of her books on the table and on intent conversation in class. All the objects in her backpack says I need to find out what that means. I can't copy this, sorry. That's annoying. And focus. And is this the new Jane? No, this is the new Jane, it seems. But the old Jane isn't too far away. That detonation ship was only 10 years old. While you mulling over what you're seeing, you hear Jane's wounds and Miss Rivers praising her for good answer. What happened more than once even. You can't remember the last time Jen did this well in class. What's up with her? What's up with that? The bell finally rings, setting you free from English class, and you hurry to catch up with Jane as you head into the hall. Hey Jane, you call. She turns around and the sound of your voice. Yes. You finally got Jane's attention. What to say? Jane's place. Yes, why? She doesn't really know why people are concerned. You've been acting differently, you said. It's because you're upset about breaking. Is there something you want to? You seems really serious and quiet lately. Jen blinks. Do you mean because I'm actually focusing class and not horsing around? That's not a bad thing, you say hoarsely. I mean, you did a great day today. You did great today in class, but like I said, you're kind of quiet, and I heard you broke up with Kyle. Oh, Jen says flatly. Well, That, well, I am better off without him. Okay, that's really different. You really feel that way? You ask, surprised. Jen nods. Her expression hardly changed at all. I do. That's kind of certain what happened. Detention a few I got detention a few days ago, Jane explained. And okay, maybe I had detention a lot. Or Jane would have herself deep something green to go with admin, but she doesn't. Her voice is matter of fact with a serious expression too much. But this time was different. I was sitting there with Miss Clay, staring down at me, and I started thinking, really thinking. By the time I left, I just got it. I really understood what I was going to do with myself. All the acting out and breaking rules, it was hurting me. I needed to stop, so I did it. She make it sound so easy to decide to stop if a traffic lights, which you remember she didn't always do before either. Carl was part of that life, Jane finished, so I had to stop that too. You know Carl for years. Seriously, Jane, what's going on? Why did you why did your feelings for change? You know that Carl is really upset. Jane's right. He's a drug dealer. I can't offer to hang around with people like that anymore. He was dragging me down, and I'm turning my life around. And I'm a lot happier now because of it. Happy, repeat, staring at Jane in astonishment. Something. uh, I am a lot happier now because of it. Yeah. In the last 2 days, I haven't heard you tell a single joke, even laugh. Then Jane shakes her head. Mouth versus disapprovedly. That's not the kind of happiness I mean. There is more to life than that. I'm going to be successful now. I know it. This sounds extremely like Carl was talking about. Jane's talking about college, long-term planning. Before you can come up with any good question, Jane says, "Look, I need to go. I'll be late for my next class." She steps around and moves downhill. The conversation is definitely over. But you can't stop thinking about what Jen said. That she is happier now. Do you think she was really telling the truth? No, she is acting completely against her nature. I'm not sure. I'm sure she's just hiding how unhappy she is. She could be. There is more to life than party and fun. I have to start thinking about serious things in college. No way. She's turning into a pod person. Nobody could be happy like that. I would never give up what I'm loving doing. You go with number 2. It all depends on what makes you happy, right? For some people, getting into a good college or having a successful career is happiness. You never thought Jen was one of the people, but maybe she is after all. And maybe you're too. Sometimes you have to think about something besides yourself and what makes you happy right now. Jace managed to do that, and you hope to figure out what to do too. Well, you get enough information to go back to Carl. When Jane broke off the relationship because she honestly didn't want to be dating Carl anymore, she didn't feel like Carl fit into her new life, studying and ambition. You text Carl to meet you at the end of the school at the same place as yesterday. By the time you arrived, he already there, patching around and fizzing with the build-up energy. The instant he spots you, he spins around towards you, calling you, "Emily, what have you got?" So how are you gonna approach this? I'm going to give Carl as much detail as I can. Knowing all the information always makes me feel better. So it'll make him feel better. I don't need to be gentle. Carl is already upset and I don't want to hurt him anymore. Well, that's just cruel. I just say it straight. Tip-top tie around wouldn't make it easier. So the question is just going to say it straight or going to give Carl as much details as I can. I'm gonna go with giving him all the detail he can, because then maybe he will grow up and become a better man and maybe focus on his life and make it better on himself. Okay, you begin. Jen's been acting differently lately, not because of you. Not just with you, with everyone and everything. She's been studying harder, paying attention in class, working harder at soccer, following the rules and not partying. She says she wants to get serious about going to college and had to focus on that. I know that she isn't hiding anything else. I talked to her, watched her, and asked around, and everybody pointed the same direction. You glance up at Carl. She's watching you carefully, eyes slightly arrowed, and he doesn't look angry at least. I'm sorry, you finish. But that's all. Something I don't know what made Jane change her mind about her future, and that's why she broke up with you. It isn't anything you said or did. So that's it, Carl says bitterly, and he slaps the payment into his hand. Jane just wanted to break up with me. We were friends for years and we were really good together, and that's just it. His eyes closed for a second, and then explosion comes. Damn it, he burst out, eyes flashing. What the hell kind of world is it where you gotta break up with someone so you can go to college? He punched again, whirling so quickly that his hair is starting to fall off his face. Well, maybe I should stop being a drug dealer. Oh, god damn it. One of these sprints bring him back to face you. Something in your face must have surprised him, because he stopped short. It's not you, he said quickly. I got no problems with you. It's Jan. It's the world. What do you do? I want to make Carl feel better, but I'm not good with words. I pat his arm. There must be something I can say to make him feel better. I try to find something comforting words. I think Carl's need to be alone. I'm gonna be like that. I'm sorry, you say gently. I know it's awful, but I know something I can but I don't know anything I can say to make you feel better. It hurts when Jen left you like this, but it isn't anything you did that make her leave. Well, expect from being a drug dealer. Move on. It has to be really unfair. Yeah, Carmada, it does. He pulls his head straighter and jerks his hand back with the defense. But it's all okay. Gotta get through this, right? And so thanks. And then a little softer, I knew I could trust you. Another case successful solved. Well, sort of. Why did Jen make such a quick turnaround? Not all of your questions were answered on this one. Maybe someday you will. Okay. Well, we reached chapter 3. And I think I'm gonna end this here. I will probably be uploading this to YouTube as well, because I want the whole game to be uploaded. So it's kind of stupid if some of the part is not there and the rest is. Thank you so much for following. Remember to follow me on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, and other pages if you want to, like Tumblr, Instagram. I even got a blog. It's all up to you. I appreciate it like a lot. And to get notification on when I will be streaming, I usually say that on Twitter or on my Facebook page. You can also get an email notification if you follow me on Twitch. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I see you guys next time.